ሰላም ጤና ይስጥልን የኢትዮ ኢንፎ ሚዲያ ተከታታዮች በሙሉ እንደምን አላችሁ? ሰላም ናችሁ ሆይ? እንግዲህ ቀጥሎ ስለምናሳየችው ቪዲዮ ነው አሁን ማብራሪያ ለመስጠት እዚህ የተገኘሁት። የዛሬ 2 ዓመት አካባቢ እማሆይ ማን ያህልሻል የተባሉ መነኩሴ ቤት ሄደን የሰራነው ቪዲዮ ነበር። እማሆይ ማን ያህልሻል የእህታቸው የልጅ ልጆችን ነው የሚፈልጉት። የእህታቸው የልጅ ልጆች ደግሞ በአሜሪካ አገር በጉዲፈቻነት የተሰጡ ናቸው። ኩሜ እሳቸው በሚሰጡበት ጊዜ ስማቸውን ሲጠቅሱልን ኩሜ፣ ጃምቦ እና ታፈራሁ ይባላሉ። የተሰጡበት ጊዜ ደግሞ በ2008 እንደ ፈረንጆች አቆጣጠር እና በ2009 ነው። ኩሜ እና ጃምቦ መንትያዎች ናቸው። ታፈራው ደግሞ የእነሱ 2 ዓመት ታናሽ እህት ነች እና እሷ ደግሞ ከ1 ዓመት በኋላ ነው የተሰጠችው። እና እዚህ ቪዲዮ ላይ የእነሱን የጉዲፈቻ እናት በአሁኑ ሰዓት እናታቸው ነው በእርግጥ የምትባለው እናታቸው ጋር ቆይታ አድርጌያለሁ። ሻሮን ትባላለች። ሻሮን ቪዲዮአችንን አይታ እማሆይን ለማግኘት ስልካቸውን ብትሞክር አልሰራ ሲላት ወደኛ ትመጣና ከኛ ጋር እማሆይን ማግኘት አልቻልኩም፣ እማሆይን አገናኙኝ ብላ ጠይቃን እማሆይን ለማገናኘት ስልካቸው ላይ ስንሞክር ስልካቸው አልሰራ ይለናል ማለት ነው። ደጋግመን ድንገት ተዘግቶ ከሆነም በሚቀጥለው ቀን ቆየት ብለንም ስንሞክር ሊሳካ አልቻለም። ስለዚህ ያደረግነው ነገር ምንድነው? ቪዲዮ ማለት ደውለን ያንን ቪዲዮ የተሰራ ወቅት ላይ ቤታቸው ነበር የተከደው ቤቱን እና ቪዲዮውን ደግሞ የሰራችው በዛን ጊዜ አብራን ትሰራ የነበረች የኢትዮኢንፎ ሚዲያ ባልደረባ የነበረችው መሰረት በዙ ነች። ሻሮን መሰረት በዙን በኢንስታግራም ላይ ኮንታክት አድርጋት እንደነበረ መሰረትም መልስ ሰጥሻለሁ ብላ ከዛ ያው በስራም ጉዳይ ሊሆን ይችላል ወይም እማሆይም እንደዛው ጠፍተውባል ሊሆን ይችላል ልታገኛቸው እንዳልቻለች ገልጻልናለች። ስለዚህ አሁን ያለን አማራጭ ምንድነው? እማሆይን ለማግኘት መልሰን እማሆይ የእህቴን የልጅ ልጆች አፋልጉኝ ብለው እንደወጡ ሁሉ አሁን ደግሞ እነሱ ተገኝተው እነሱ እማሆይን አፋልጉኝ ብለው መጥተዋል ማለት ነው። ሙሉ ቆይታው በእንግሊዝኛ ነው። ነገር ግን እዛ ላይ ያሉትን አንዳንድ ነገሮች ላብራራላችሁና ሳይተረጎም በእንግሊዝኛ እንዲሄድ ነው የወደድነው። ቃላቶችም በራሳቸው የተናገረው ሰው ሙሉ የተናገረው ንግግር እንዲሰማም ከማለት አንጻር ነው። እንደገና ከፍጥነትም አንጻር ነው። የትርጉም ስራ ጊዜ የሚፈጅ ስለሆነ በፍጥነት ይሄ ነገር ወጥቶ ከእማሆይ ጋር ለማገናኘት ስለሆነ አላማው።
ጉዳይ ሚኒስቴር ተመላለስኩ፣ ሴቶች ጉዳይ ተመላለስኩ። እኔ ደህንነታቸውን እንደዚህ እንደ ድሮ መጽያታቸው ነው የምፈልገው። ውሰዱልኝ ብላቸው እሷ 10 ዓመቷን አልወስድም አሉ። የሚወስድልኝ ታገኘው ለሰው ሰጣቸዋለሁ፣ የሚወስድልኝ ሳላገኘው ስበላ የሚበላውን ፍርፋሪ ያበላቸዋለሁ ብዬ አመጣኋቸው።
ሶስቱም አንድ ቤተሰብ ጋር ነው የገቡት።
እናትየዋን በሽተኛ ሆና መጣች። ፈረንጆቹ ሲወስዱ አየች። እንኳን እነሱ ብቻ ከዛ ከሞት ድነው እንኳን እንጀራ በላል። ብር ቢላክላት ነው እንጂ እንዴት መጽሔት ድሮ የሚመጣው እንዴት ይቀራል አሉ። እንኳን ለዚህ ያበቃቸው እናትና አባት ያጡ ልጆች ለዚህ መግባታቸው ተመስገን። ፈቃዱ ከሆነ ያገናኛል፣ ፈቃዱ ካልሆነ እንዲሁ ይቀራል።
ቪዲዮ ላይ ያሉትን ዋና ዋና ነጥቦች ለማንሳት እወዳለሁ። በመጀመሪያ ባንቱ የሚባል አካባቢ 90 ኪሎ ሜትር ከአዲስ አበባ ወጣ ብሎ ያለ ቦታ ላይ ነው የተወለዱት። ከዛ ነው ወደ አዲስ አበባ ግላድኒ ኤጀንሲ የሚባል የጉዲፈቻ አገናኝ በዛ ነው ተገናኝተው እነዚህን ልጆች አዳፕቶ ያደረጉት። መጀመሪያ መንታ ወንድና ሴት መንታ ልጆችን ነበረ ጃምቦ እና ኩሜ የሚባሉትን ማለት ነው አዶፕት ያደረጉ በ2008 በፈረንጆች አቆጣጠር ከ15 ዓመት በፊት። እነሱም የ4 ዓመት ተኩል ልጆች ነበሩ በዛን ጊዜ። ከዛ በኋላ መልሰው ከ4 ወር በኋላ ኤፕሪል ላይ ነው 2008 በፈረንጆች አዶፕት ያደረጉት እና ኦገስት ላይ ስንደውል የእናታቸው ማረፏን ስንሰማ አይ በቃ ጸለይንበትና እንግዲህ እንደዛ ትንሿን ልጅ እሷን 2 ዓመት ተኩል ነበረች በጊዜው። እሷን ለመውሰድ ወሰንን ከባለቤቴ ጋር ብላለች ሻሮን። በነገራችን ላይ ሻሮን እና ባለቤቷ ከራሳቸው የተወለዱ 3 ልጆች አሏቸው እና ያው ይሄንን ማድረግ የፈለጉት ከአፍሪካ መጥቶ እነሱ ጋር የቆየ ነበር አንድ አልጄሪያዊ ነበር እና የሆነ ለ2 ዓመት ለ3 ዓመት እነሱ ጋር ከቆየ በኋላ ሌላም ሰው ቢያመጡ እና ቢያግዙ ቢረዱ ጥሩ ስሜት እንደሚሰማቸው ስላወቁ ስለገባቸው መጀመሪያ አሜሪካን ሀገር ነበር የፈለጉ። ከዛ በኋላ በቃ አፍሪካ አሉ። ምክንያቱም መጀመሪያም እነሱ ጋር እየቆየ ይመለስ የነበረው ልጅ አፍሪካዊ ስለነበር በኋላም ኢትዮጵያ መራቸው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ኩሜና ጃምቦን በ2008 አዶፕት ካደረጉ በኋላ ከ4 ወር በኋላ እናታቸው ታርፋለች። እናታቸው ስታርፍ በቃ ትንሿንም መውሰድ አለብን ብለን ጸልየን ትንሿንም ወሰድን ብለዋል። ትንሿን ታፈራሁን በ2009 ኖቬምበር እንደወሰዷት ይናገራሉ። ፕሮሰሶቹ እነዚህ ናቸው። በነገራችን ላይ የቀደመው ቪዲዮ ላይ እማሆይ ሌላ የነሱ ታላቅ እህታቸው በዛን ጊዜ 10 ዓመቷ የነበረ ልጅ አለች እና እሷ እድሜዋ ትልቅ ስለሆነ ሊወስዷት አልቻሉም ብለው ተናግረው ነበር እና ስለዛ ጠይቂያቸው አይ ትክክለኛ መረጃ አይደለም የሆነው የነበረው ነገር ምንድን ነው? በዛን ወቅት እማሆይ ልጆቹን እንዳሳዳጊ ተሰጥተው ስለነበረ የእሷን የትልቋን ሴት ልጅ ኃላፊነት አሳልፈው አልሰጡም ነበረ። እሳቸው ጋር የእሳቸው ልጅ ተብላ ነበረ ተመዝግባ የነበረው እና ያ መሆን ስላልቻለ አሳልፋም ስላልሰጠች በማወቅም ባለማወቅም ሊሆን ይችላል። ባለማወቅ ነው ብለው የሚያስቡት እነሱ። በዛ ምክንያት ነው እንጂ እኛ እሷንም መውሰድ እንችል ነበረ። መነጣጠልም አላማ አልነበረንም እና እህቶቿም እሷ አሁን ምን ላይ እንዳለች ማወቅ ሁሉ ይፈልጋሉ እና ያው በእድሜዋ ምክንያት ሳይሆን በዚህ ምክንያት ነው በተለየ ምክንያት ነው አዶፕት ሳትደረግ የቀረችው ብለዋል። በተረፈ ያው ለ10 ዓመት የሚያክል ይልኩ እንደነበረ ፎቶዎች፣ ከዛ በኋላ የተቋረጠበትን ምክንያት ኢትዮጵያ የጉዲፈቻን ጉዳይ የሚያቀላጥፉ ኤጀንሲዎችን መስሪያ ቤቶችን ስትዘጋ ከዛ በኋላ ነው ያው ግንኙነቱም የተቋረጠው ብላለች። በተረፈ ባለፈው ዓመት ብዙ ፎቶዎችን አንድ በላይ በሚባል ሰው ቤቷ ድረስ ሄዶ እንደሰጠ ነግራናለች። ግን እሱም ቢሆን መልሶ ይዞት የመጣው ስልክ አሁንም እንደማይሰራና እማሆይን ማግኘት እንደሚፈልጉ ነው እየተናገሩ ያሉት። እንግዲህ እማሆይን ማግኘት ቀላል ነገር ነው ብለን ነው የምናስበው። ምክንያቱም መጥተው ስላገኙን በቀላሉ ይሄን ቪዲዮ አጋርተን እማሆይንና እነ ሻሮንን እነ ኩሜ እነ ታፈራሁና እነ ጃምቦ ጋር እናገናኛቸው እንላለን። ሳልሞት ባገኛቸው ብለው የሞት ልጆች ናቸው ብለው ይናገራሉ እዛ ቪዲዮ ላይ እና እማሆይን ህልም እናሳካ ብዬ ጥያቄ ማለት ተማጽኖ አቀርባለሁ። ከዚህ በኋላ ያው ቪዲዮውን በሙሉ ለማየት ለምትፈልጉ ቪዲዮውን እጋብዛለሁ ማለት ነው። ለምታደርጉልን ትብብር በሙሉ ቀድሜ ደግሞ ምስጋናን አቀርባለሁ። መልካም ጊዜ ይሁንላችሁ። We are here because almost 2 years ago, 1.5 more than that, I think, Emahoy came to our media in search of their nephew and grandniece, and then after some time, so we didn't hear anything from anybody, and maybe few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, you contacted us on Facebook, also on our email, and we tried to find Emahoy using the number that was given during the interview, but we couldn't find them. I'm now in Finland, but we have our offices in Addis, and we have people in Addis also who's trying to look for them, and then we couldn't. So now this video is again looking for Emahoy. Emahoy came looking for you. Now you're coming here to look for Emahoy. So thank you for agreeing to do this. And if you can introduce yourself, and we can continue from there.
So my name is Sharon Diepenhorst, and we are the adoptive parents of the grand niece and nephews that she talking about Jambo, Kume, and Atefado. And Jambo and Kume, or I call them Trey and Tessa, they are here if you want them to just say hello.
Okay.
Would you like
Yeah.
them to do that?
They can say hello. Yeah, that would be nice.
This is Tessa Kume.
Hi, I'm Tessa.
Okay. Hello. Nice to meet you.
I'll let you do
Oh,
that.
nice to meet you too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like I think we've showed a couple of pictures on the video. So
Yeah.
like I
Yes.
you're one of them. So
That was when they
next-
were.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
yes. Okay. When did you watch the video?
When my mom showed it to us,
Oh, when was that?
probably a few weeks ago, right? Yeah,
Oh.
a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. All right. So do you remember Mahoy?
No, I don't remember much.
Okay. How old were you when you got adopted?
We were around like 4, 5, 4.
They were
Four
four and a half.
4.5. Yeah. So I don't
Okay.
remember much.
So you guys are the twins.
Yes.
Me and Trey.
Okay. So do you know any Amharic word that you can say hello to Mahoy when she sees
You might
this?
have to teach us. We don't know.
Okay. Have you been to Ethiopia like ever since you left?
We might. My mom's
Not-
trying to plan a trip though for next year.
Yeah, we want to go
Okay.
next June or May if we can.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. So I'm going to continue the conversation with
Yeah,
your
for
mom.
sure. Nice meeting you.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Nice to meet you too. Yes. So Mahoy says in the video that there was a communication actually for like she said it spanned like 10 years something that she was getting in her words she was getting like a magazine. She calls it a magazine of
Yeah.
like pictures.
Mhm.
So she was getting that and then it stopped coming. And then that's when she started to
Right.
look for you. So if you can tell me, like, I know it's a long story, like from the beginning, like kind of like, highlight it. And like you also met Mahoy, I can see in the picture there that. So if you can tell us like how it went, like the process of the adoption and then things like that.
They are from an area called Bandchu, like a village called
Okay.
Bandchu, which is about 90 kilometers from Addis.
Okay.
We did go to that village too.
Is that where the picture took place, or was it in
No.
Addis?
So when we first got connected with Trey and Tessa, we went to Ethiopia. So their mother went to her aunt and needed help, and her aunt brought the children to Gladney, and then we got the children in April of 2008. And that was when we met their mother, Metafu. And then in August of 2008, I emailed our adoption agency and asked about their little sister and just said, if their mom was doing okay and how their little sister was doing. And then our agency emailed me back or called me and said, actually, they just found out that the mom had passed away or mom had died, and the little sister needed to be adopted, and that the great aunt or she had brought the little sister to Gladney. And so then we prayed about it for about 6 weeks to decide if this was the right thing for us to do. And then we decided it was definitely the right thing for us to do. So then we adopted their little sister, Jada. She was called Atefado as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And then she came to us at 3 years old.
When she came, yeah. Okay, so she was there. And Mahoy talks about another like sister who was older during the adoption that she couldn't come right now.
Well, I think that was just miscommunication because she brought me to where the sister was. And I called my husband and I said, there's another sister and maybe we need to adopt another sister. When I got back home to America, I emailed our adoption agency and said, there's another sister. And I, gave the name, and they said that Emmahoy had not relinquished her. And you have to relinquish them in order for them to be adopted. And the agency cannot to ask someone to relinquish because that would be like unethical and that would be considered coercion and they didn't want to be unethical. So I didn't hear, I know in her video, she said that they said she was too old, and there's lots of kids that are adopted at age, like up to age 17. At 18, they can't be adopted. But up to
that
age
was
17,
like one of my questions. Like 10 is not really old. I mean,
No.
I live in Finland, in Europe. I know a lot of kids who came here like when they were like much older than 10 years. So so that was the real reason why she
I
couldn't.
think it was because when she brought her to the orphanage, maybe someone told her she was too old, but that would have been wrong. Because when she brought him, apparently she just didn't sign the correct relinquishment papers, and then she wasn't able to be adopted.
Okay. It could also be that now this adoption agencies, they no more exist. Maybe I remember like during around that time. I'm not quite sure like the exact year like they stopped the agencies from doing that kind of things, but maybe it could also be one reason. But so let me go back to like my first question. So how did the adoption came to be? Like were you like in search for like were you looking to adopt kids for a long time? Like how did it come about? Like why Ethiopia and things like that?
So we never thought about adoption. We have 3 biological children, and then we had taken a refugee from North Africa. This young boy, he came at age 11, and he stayed off and on with us until age 14, and he just lived with us during that time, and we fell in love with him like a child of our own. And so that's when we realized that we could adopt a child that's not biologically ours. And that was in 2006. He was with us between 2003 through 2006. And then after he left and went back home after he left, then we just went on with our lives and we didn't think about adoption. And then one day my husband and I were sitting at dinner and he just said, "Are we going to adopt or what?" And we had never actually talked about adoption. But when he said that, it was like a puzzle piece, like just fell into place. And we just looked at each other and said, "Okay, let's do this." So we were initially going to adopt from America, a United States adoption, because we have kids that need parents in the United States. And so we went to a meeting for that to adopt kids like ages 4 and under. And at the meeting we went to, they gave us misinformation. We didn't know it at the time, but they told us that that there were no children ages 4 and under available, and that it would take like 2 to 4 years for us to adopt. And then we just said, well, if there's not a need here, then let's consider somewhere else where there's a need. And so then we ended up, the boy that lived with us was from Algeria, and we just were drawn to Africa because that's where he had lived. And so and Ethiopia is sort of close to Algeria. So when we saw that Ethiopia had adoption, we decided to pursue adoption through Ethiopia.
Okay. And then so what did you do? Did you contact, did you search on Google, or what was
we called, we looked up adoption agencies, and we heard that Gladney, which was our agency, was a good agency. So we called them, and then we wanted to go to an agency where we did not pick the children. We wanted to go to an agency where they told us who our children were, because I didn't want the stress of having to decide a child.
Okay.
So Gladney said that's how they do it. Like, you just tell them that you're open to taking 2 children, and then you go through all the paperwork. It takes about 9 months of paperwork. And then after the paperwork, they called us in like February of 2008 and said, "We have 4.5-year-old twins that are in need of a family. and are we open to that? And then we said yes, and that's how we did that process.
Okay. Yeah, great. So you adopted the twins
Mhm.
and then got in contact with with the birth. Like, were you in contact with the birth mother before she passed
No.
away? Uh-huh.
Well, no, we met her only
Yeah.
in Ethiopia. And
Yeah.
then every year we were sending updates, but she
Okay.
passed away, so she never got the updates. And that's how Emma-Hoy got the updates.
Yeah. Mahoy got the update
Mhm.
for,
Mhm.
according to her, close to 10 years.
Right, right,
And every year she says
right.
she gets them.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the adoption agency was closed,
Mhm.
then so what happened? Like, why did the communication stopped? Like, what was the reason?
Yeah. Well, because Ethiopia, like the government, shut
Yeah.
down international adoption. So then
Yes.
the adoption agencies had to leave, and they didn't give us any way to give any information to
Mm.
the birth families anymore. We just didn't
Okay.
have any avenue to do it. And so
Okay.
you could have our yearly updates, but there was nobody in Ethiopia at that point to do it, which really you think that there should have been. That would have been
Mm.
really important
I
to
think
do.
there is actually, they took all the files. Like, I think, is it the Ministry of Youth and Women, if
MOA.
I'm not mistaken?
I think it's
Yeah,
MOA, Ministry of Women Association,
and
maybe? I'm not sure.
yeah, so I'm watching it, but I know that there is a government agency who
Okay.
took all the files
Mhm.
from those adoption agencies, and then was supposed to be continuing
Yeah,
the
we
communication
never got,
process, but yeah,
yeah.
but they I think it's probably a lot of work, and but they didn't know what to do. Mahoy also says in the in the interview that uh, she went to those offices several times asking
Mm,
for updates, but she never uh,
mhm,
got any. But
mhm,
yeah, so what was life like after adoption?
mhm.
So the kids came, and then was it after a year that their sister came
Yeah,
and
Trey and
joined them?
Tessa came in April of 2008, and
Yeah.
Jada came in November of 2009. So about a year and a half after they came home.
Yeah. So what was it like? What was it like? I mean, I understand they came from a different culture. So were you looking for Ethiopian
Mhm.
families or
Mhm.
events or things like that? How
Yeah,
was it like?
yeah. So when they first came, probably for the first 2 months or 3 months, you don't do very much because they're
Mhm.
just getting settled in. Very traumatic, right? Coming from one culture to another culture. So for the first few months, we just stayed at home and they just worked on learning the language, which they picked up so easily.
Mhm.
And then I think they were home probably we in April, I think in July of '08 was the first time I took them to an Ethiopian restaurant,
Okay.
and they ate the food so fast that I thought they were gonna throw up. Like, they just kept eating and eating and eating, and I was like, "Okay," so they definitely remembered their food and those
Mm,
tastes. And then so
yeah.
since then, we've been trying to do, the Ethiopian food. We either restaurants or I make a little bit, but I don't make very much.
What do you
And
make? What do
all
you
I make is I like
Sorry to put you on the spot.
no. I like
Yeah.
the, Dorowat
Okay.
and the red lentils,
Yes.
the spicy
Mr.
one.
What? Mr.
Yes,
What?
the
Yeah.
Miserat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my favorite is the
Okay.
Miserat.
Yeah.
The kids really like the Dorowat, but that takes
Okay.
longer. That takes
It
longer to
does.
make. Yeah,
Yes.
Miserat is
I
pretty
think
easy.
yeah, I think nowadays it's even easier, right? A lot of YouTube videos, so you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
you follow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
Okay, go ahead.
they love injera, and there's a, like an international marketplace here that has injera all the time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we never have to make injera. We can just buy it really easily.
Okay.
Um,
How's the community there? So you live which state do you live?
we live in near Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Michigan. Okay.
Mhm,
So is
mhm.
there a huge Ethiopian community there? How big is the
It's not huge. There is some Ethiopian community. I would say where my kids are at in their
yeah.
lives, because they're 19 and 16, they probably will look more into the Ethiopian community as they get older. I think now
Okay.
they just wanted to be a teenager and just do,
Okay. Yeah.
normal American things.
Yes.
But they do enjoy the restaurants, and we have gone to some of the Ethiopian churches and some like just Ethiopian like festivals and things like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, so let's come back to Mahoy and the video. So you told me so there was no way that you could like communicate with them, so it just like lost contact. So were you hoping like to visit or do something about it at some point,
Mhm.
like before you saw the
Yeah,
video?
yeah. I had talked to the kids about it multiple times, and my goal was always to bring them back to visit after 10 years. So Trey and
Okay.
Tessa were 4, and so I was thinking when they were 14, but they were not ready to come back when they were 14. I asked them, and they were uncomfortable with the idea of it at that point. And then we were going to
Mhm.
do it in the summer of 2020, but then because of COVID, there was no
COVID, yeah.
so there was no
Yeah.
traveling then. At that
Yeah.
point, they said they were ready. Summer of 2020, so that would have been 3 summers ago. So Trey and Tessa were, yeah, they were 16, and
Mhm.
Jada, the youngest one, she always wanted to go back.
Mhm.
But that we were hoping to do it that summer, and then that didn't happen. And we were hoping to hire an investigator,
Uh-huh.
because we knew we wanted to get a hold of family, but we had no way.
Okay.
We didn't know how to
Yeah.
find her. So our plan was to get
Yeah.
an investigator. So that's why when I saw the video, that was very
Okay.
exciting.
Yeah. How did you see the video? Or like how did it come
Yeah.
to your attention? Yeah.
So uh, his name is Balai, and he's in
Okay.
the video. She talks about him.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
Facebook messaged me and said, "There's a video, and it's with your family." And he just sent it on to me, and I um, actually that was a year ago, and
Okay.
he did respond to Elahoy.
Okay.
Um, I got as many pictures as I could together, and I emailed
Okay.
them to him, and he
Okay.
uh, went to Ethiopia last summer, not this summer, but last July, and he
Yeah.
met with her, and he gave her all the pictures
Okay.
and talked with her about our kids, and then she talked with him multiple times. And then
Okay.
after that, I talked with him and asked for that phone number, and it was
Mhm.
never working. So it hasn't
Okay.
been working since then. So we've never been able to get a hold of her ourselves. And
Okay.
he's back
Yeah.
in the US now, so he doesn't really have a way to or at least he doesn't do
Okay.
anything else.
I know that like Mahoy is old, and she also talks about in the video that she was hospitalized for COVID, like for
Um,
20 days around that time
uh-huh,
when we interviewed
uh-huh.
her. So, but I hope that she's well, and I hope that
Right,
you guys
right,
meet, and yeah. But
right.
who so you saw like who so this Balai guy, is he the one who translated it for you, or like how is your Amharic, or was
Uh,
his?
Actually, there is a local man in Michigan that I uh, went on a Grand Rapids Facebook Ethiopia page.
Okay,
He met us for dinner, and he met us at an Ethiopian restaurant, and he translated it line by line. And he's
okay,
been trying to get information as well. Like
yeah,
he's been who I've used to try to call her, because I can't call her myself, just because
okay,
I don't speak Amharic. But
yeah,
we've scheduled different times, and it hasn't worked out because like the phone is
mm,
always disconnected, and it says it needs more
yeah,
minutes, and they've added money to the phone,
hmm,
because I thought maybe it's
yeah.
just out of money, but it doesn't work. It
That,
hasn't been working.
so you have also contacted like the journalist who used to work in our media
Yeah,
before you contacted us. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, but I just did an Instagram message with her,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she responded. I think she just said, "Yes, I would like to help." And then I
Yeah.
sent her the video to remind her of who it was, and I have not heard back from
You
her.
have not, yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah, maybe she probably had the same problem like we have
mhm,
right now,
mhm.
but I was hoping to get to hold of her also because she was in their place, so she knows where it is. But we do a lot of like videos like this and
Yeah.
other videos also. So it's maybe she forgot about
Well, and
yeah.
and we met some of the family as well when we were in
Mhm.
Ethiopia. They took us to the village that her mom and that the children's mom and family were, and we ate dinner with like 30 people from that
Yeah.
village. And like I said, I think it's called Bantu.
Uh-huh.
And so I know
Yeah.
there's a brother, the mom's
Yeah.
brother was in that dinner with us, but I don't have the names of any of those people.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if Masarat is watching this video, but and then maybe she forgot about like responding to you, and
Yeah,
connect you with Mahoy,
yeah.
then I also
My
ask her
youngest
like if she
daughter,
can. Yeah.
my youngest daughter
Yes.
got here. Do you want me to bring her into the video or no?
Okay. Yes, she can say hello.
Okay.
That would be nice,
Rita,
of
can you say
course. Yes.
hello? She was just coming back from field hockey practice, so I'll see if I can get her
Uh-huh.
in here. So let's
All right.
see. Okay, get yourself in there. Get a little
Hi.
closer.
Hello.
Closer.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, she's the youngest.
Yep. 16 years old.
16 years old, yeah. And she was 2.5, you said, when
She was three.
she was
3 years
3.
old.
Okay, okay. Do you remember Mahoy? Anybody?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, I just remember a lot of people picking me when I was younger.
Yeah. A
Uh-huh.
lot of people holding her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
hopefully we can find, yeah, hopefully we can find Mahoy, and then we
Yes,
can
and she
we
definitely
can
wants to go back and visit Ethiopia. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can do that in the spring.
Okay. What's most interesting about Ethiopia that you want to go back, other than you were born in Ethiopia?
I mean, just like seeing it, like what could have been, I guess, like, how normal Ethiopians grow up, I guess, or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, like the extended and like the like we didn't talk much about the older sister and Mahoy also. I don't think she is with Mahoy right now. Maybe in the village
Mhm.
where they were adopted. But
Mhm.
yeah, so you probably wonder like about your older sister as well. I
I
just
would
guess.
like to meet her.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to meet her. I think she's probably about 22 years old now, is what I
Mm,
would guess. So I would definitely
okay.
like to.
Yeah. Okay. Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
All right.
So you-
Bye.
But what we ask the people is the same thing that Mahoy appealed, that whoever knows Mahoy, please give the number that you see on the video. They can like contact us, and then we can provide that information to you so that your information is protected. So we will give like the media's information, and they can do that. And if you want to say anything to the people who are watching so that they can help like in connecting with the Mahoy, then we can have that. And maybe when we find Mahoy, then we can have a little chat and just uh, like to say thank you to the people who made it happen.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And I
Yes.
really appreciate you doing this. And I really hope that we can make a connection with their birth family.
Yeah, I was actually one of the things I was like that was in my head was okay, like let me try to find Mahoy and then tell you that okay, we can't find them, let's do a video, and then I can add the video for Mahoy and then surprise you guys. But it just wouldn't happen. It just
Oh,
was
that would have been great.
that would have been nice. Yeah, I know. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of like the stories like that that
Yeah.
we try to connect from Europe and the US also, and yeah, it feels nice to see people get reconnected, and
Mhm.
especially the kids when they try to see someone, find someone who they came from. That makes a lot of difference. It means a lot for them. So, but yeah, hopefully Emahoy, we find Emahoy, and then we do a second like a happy video about it.
I would love that.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time, Sharon, and have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you.
ኢትዮኢንፎ ሚዲያ የተለያዩ ማህበራዊ ፖለቲካዊና ወቅታዊ ጉዳዮችን እያዘጋጀ ወደ እናንተ ያደርሳል። ሰብስክራይብ፣ ኮሜንት፣ ሼር በማድረግ ቤተሰብ ሁኑ። እናመሰግናለን።